Okay, so hi everyone. Thanks for being here today. My name is Alex and I work on the product team at Leanplum, where I'm focusing on data access, which really means making sure that marketing teams have access to the data they need and the tooling to leverage this data in their marketing programs. So today we're going to talk about the importance of actionable data and how it fuels a successful marketing program. In this session, you will learn about the increased data demands when doing customer engagement in a post-pandemic world. Never before has there been more pressure on the marketing organization to generate revenue, and having actionable data structure and solid data governance are fundamental for the success of your marketing program and translate directly into ROI. We'll go through real-life examples to illustrate best practices and establish some data patterns and anti-patterns that will hopefully help you with requirements for your 2021 MarTech stack and marketing strategy. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat box on the right side. I think we'll have some time in the end to go through at least a few questions. So let's begin. Having recently reread The Foundation, amazing book by the way, something that I've been really fearful of is falling into the dark ages of data. Having no data to make decisions, or even worse, basing my decisions on corrupted data. One major thing that the pandemic / lockdown / isolation, however you want to call it, achieved is that it really sped things up for everyone, both online and physical businesses. Actually, it forced physical businesses to become online businesses, and it forced online businesses to worry about customer retention even more. Optimizing for customer lifecycle value, CLV, is more important than ever, and the data privacy / ads wars between the tech giants are only making this statement more valid. Just imagine the importance of holding on to a customer when Apple finally rolls out their IDFA change and it becomes much tougher to target or personalize ads. Unfortunately, there are a lot of businesses out there who are already heading for the dark ages of data. And the main goal of this session is to give you some tips on how to head in the opposite direction. But let's look at some real life examples I've selected from industries which we all know are booming during the pandemic. So let's start with gaming. You don't need me to tell you that gaming has grown massively during the pandemic. I bet you have friends pinging you to play Among Us or Fortnite even right now. What you can see on the left is the average revenue per daily active user for 4 different gaming companies year to date. It's clear how they all peaked in the months of March, April, May, June, but then September was actually weaker than January for all of them. In the chart on the right side, I've summarized the data from all 4 companies and added a trend. As you can see for yourselves, somebody out there is not happy with where their business is going. But okay, we all know gaming is a volatile business, so let's look elsewhere. What you see here is e-commerce. Businesses which sell products or subscriptions. These businesses are supposed to grow given folks exercise at home with an app and are more reluctant to go to a physical store to do their groceries. Here the trend is pretty flat, and this is not good either. I picked all of these companies because they have something in common. Their data is not actionable. And let's see how. So what did these guys do wrong? First of all, most of them think in terms of separate mobile, email, and SMS marketing programs. They use different tools for each program and sometimes even different teams. I know more than one company out there that is doing email versus mobile marketing for the same product out of different continents. This just sounds crazy to me. Second, all of those companies do not have the concept of a centralized user profile, or what we call at Leanplum, a 360-degree user profile. And the last one, listen, it's okay for the product team to be in charge of the in-app experience. I think that if I was a PM for a consumer product, I'd want to be in charge of the user experience. But similar to point 1, this cannot happen in isolation from the marketing team. Growth teams are already solving for this, but we need to think more about how do we task smart marketing, product, and technical folks with solving holistic customer experience in-app and out of there. I group all of those under the same anti-pattern. I call it the dispersed marketing program. Then 6 out of the 7 companies we just looked at are not tracking transactional data. Of course, there are increasing data regulations around processing transactional data, but modern customer engagement vendors will help you solve for this. Masking underlying data for your audiences may not seem like such a big deal, but you're basically depriving yourselves of all the audience insights a tool with built-in audience management would give you. Last is duplicating events. This is really a no-go. A lot of the tools out there have adequate enough data management to help you with this, but the basic data hygiene will require some engineering work on your end. I combine these 3 under corrupted data structure. For the last one, let me try to articulate a very good example of a broken customer journey. In the charts I just showed you, there is a utility app. On top of the main use cases they do, they're also selling various packages and upgrades to the main experience. However, all of those are being sold in a legacy web shop, and the team has absolutely no visibility over how users are browsing, selecting, and purchasing their goods out there. They just know I went to the web store, and that's it. This is what a broken journey is. To make things worse for them, their product development organization has no plans to invest in fixing this because this is not their main business. And you'll be amazed, but 5 out of the 7 companies actually do not send a signal for purchases, subscription, or even a custom definition of a conversion. Leanplum and most other tools out there will often offer an out-of-the-box way to do so with very little effort on your side, and will give you better functionality when working with data. So be aware of this, and I call this last data anti-pattern the no aha moment. Okay, so let's just take a moment to quickly summarize the 3 data anti-patterns we've just established. Dispersed marketing program, corrupted data structure, and no aha moment. So we've all had this deja vu moment where we've discussed something with a friend and bam, Facebook shows an ad for the exact same thing. Worry not, they're not listening on you. Tech giants have already solved around the anti-patterns that we've discussed, but it's been much easier for them because of the amount of data they have their hands on. Unfortunately, most marketing teams out there don't have this level of access to data. And you'll be amazed how many big companies are suffering from the exact same problems that we just discussed. Fortunately, not always lost. The tooling is getting adequate enough for you to be able to give us a lot of the juice that the likes of Facebook, Google, and Amazon are getting. And the concept of a centralized marketing program operating on top of a centralized user profile is becoming more feasible with each day. Here on the left, we're looking at revenue per MAU for 5 companies who did really well during the pandemic. You notice that their businesses mostly did not have the anticipated bump in the March-April period. However, these teams really sat down and thought about their data strategy, which is clearly producing results for them. So let's try to answer the question, what it is that these folks are doing right. Well, first of all, as we speak, they're stealing your users from you and they're turning them into nice fat whales. But seriously, what did they do? So let's go through some specific things they did. So all of them invested in customer data infrastructure. They either bought a CDP or prioritized enough engineering work to be able to centralize their customer data in a tool like Leanplum. Also, all of them are running mobile, email, and in-app messages from the same platform, helping them consolidate their marketing program. I call this first data pattern the centralized user profile. They're also using general or foundational audiences for their campaigns. This helps them factor in additive data when figuring out who to include or exclude from a campaign. And they're also pretty smart about the marketing intensity of their program, down to the audience level. I call this next data pattern audience management. Another thing that all of these companies have in common is that they were actually very early adopters of the advanced recency and frequency segmentation models we are currently rolling out. These help marketing teams build behavioral models around my favorite products, shows I've watched, or how much time I've spent watching those, or my favorite Fortnite skins. I couldn't stress the importance of factoring the customer behaviors towards the marketing program. Do I prefer to read my personal email in the morning, right after work, or after I've put my kids to bed? How likely am I to complete a transaction from a push notification? Most of the folks out there really underestimate the importance of a customer's marketing activity. This data pattern is called behavioral modeling. All of the above companies have an assigned person to look after data governance. This is usually a technical persona, think CTO or CIO, head of engineering or analytics, or maybe even a PM like myself. By having this data governor, they have also managed to leverage the specifics of their own infrastructure to their advantage, because it may hugely vary how you integrate with any tool out there based on whether your data sits in Google GCP, Amazon AWS, Snowflake, or elsewhere. I call this last data pattern data governance. Okay, so this helps us establish the 4 data patterns that I'll ask you to take away from this talk. Centralized user profile, which will also mostly solve the dispersed marketing program anti-pattern. Audience management will help you bring structure to your data. Behavior modeling will help you move not only towards an aha moment, but actually optimize the aha moment based on audiences, users, whatever. And data governance, because otherwise things may go out of hand, especially when working with large data sets, which is what we all want to do as our businesses are scaling and growing. Okay, let me try to summarize what we went through so far. The future of marketing is what we dream and shape ourselves. So as marketers, it is in our hands to not only create the marketing program that generates revenue for the business, but to also create a marketing program that delights and respects users, while helping them find what they need and can afford. As powerful trends in tooling are emerging around machine learning, augmented intelligence, and data democratization, the playground is only going to get cooler. So approach it with an open mind and channel your creativity, because no machine can replace this. Commit to following the data patterns and avoiding the anti-patterns we went through today, or ignore them and set your own. But please be data savvy, because the demand for data is only going to grow. Have data in mind when you discuss your marketing strategy next, and make sure you actually have a data strategy as part of this. Again, centralized user profiles, make sure the tools you use have audience management and spend time to learn it, explore latest trends in behavioral modeling, and please assign a data governor for your data. Well, this was everything for today. Thank you for listening in, and please get in touch if you have any questions, or if you just want to geek together about futuristic concepts around data augmentation, AI guidance, data democratization, or the future of us. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.